Hello and welcome back to the podcast. It's episode 12, and today we're going to be recapping game week 3 of the Premier League, where we've had some pretty interesting fixtures, some really interesting results, and some pretty nice performances by some players who continue to bag in the goals this year as they have last year. This first game we're going to go over is Brighton 2 at home. Brighton lose to Manchester United at home, 2-3. Did Manchester United steal this win in this one, Nick?
Yeah, they absolutely did. Brighton hit the bar 5 times. Man United needed a last-minute penalty to win the game. The penalty was called after the ref blew the final whistle due to VAR. It was a shocking finish, dramatic finish. Man United stole this. But honestly, as a Man United fan, it feels good we won this game. We played horrible, but we got the 3 points, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, but this is a huge result for Manchester. But they're still finding their feet this season, and Brighton are looking really solid with the way they've been playing. I didn't think they'd be playing as well as they had been this year, but they're looking pretty good. And this team also plays again tomorrow on the Tuesday. On the Wednesday. So interesting to see how that one goes. This next game, Crystal at home loses to Everton 1-2. Everton pretty much dominated this one and looking pretty good. What do you think about Calvert-Lewin? He's continuing to bag in these goals for him.
Yeah, he's for sure a Golden Boot contender at this rate. Carlo Ancelotti has him playing some beautiful football at the moment. James Rodriguez and Richarlison are feeding him that midfield. They're winning the ball back and starting counters. And the counter-attacking style fits this front three. And Allen, got to give a shout-out to Allen. He's adapted brilliantly to the Premier League. He's winning balls, starting counters. And Everton look like a real solid side right now.
Yeah, no, Everton's looking really good. Only allowing 3 goals in their first 3 games in the league. Big ups to them. The next game, we got West Brom at home, able to get a result against Chelsea as they draw this one 3-3. Really interesting as the West Brom really come out early and score 3 goals in 27 minutes here with Callum Robinson getting 2 of those. He's had a pretty good game and also one of the best performances of the week from him for West Brom. What do you got to say about Chelsea, man? Their goalkeeper woes, when you put in Kepa, they don't play good. When you take out Kepa, they still can't stop these goals, What's going on there?
Yeah, well, Kepa, he's just struggling. But Caballero, he's a number 2 goalkeeper. And Chelsea, they might make him the number 1 sometimes, but that's not who he is. That's not the level of talent he has. He's a number 2, and number 2 goalkeepers do make mistakes. I'm just excited to see Edouard Mendy get the number 1 spot and see how he plays. If not, Chelsea's goalkeeping core might be cursed if he's bad as well.
Yeah. So we see, as in this first game for Chelsea, another slow start in the beginning of this game. What do you take from having another slow start and being down 3-0 in this first half in comparison to all these transfers that they've been making and how much their starting lineup has changed since last year? Do you think that has an impact on how they've started off this season in the Prem?
It for sure does have an impact. The chemistry isn't there right now. Usually teams by the 3rd game, they know where each other are going to be. They know, where to expect the striker to be, where to expect the wingers, where to expect the midfielders. But right now, Chelsea doesn't have that cohesion. But also, I think a big reason Chelsea is struggling is because Christian Pulisic is sick, or is injured, actually. He's not sick. But due to his injury, he's not playing. And he's like the engine, in my opinion, for this Chelsea team. He drives them forward. He makes these runs.
Yeah.
He's very direct. And I think once he comes back, they'll be playing a more direct attacking style, and that will benefit them.
Yeah, no, I love Pulisic. I've always rated him, not just because he's American, but that probably has a little bit to do with it. But I just love how he plays. He plays like he has passion for the game, and he goes well on this Chelsea side. And once he comes back, he's gonna really help him get up there again. So yeah, I think this Chelsea team just really needs to build chemistry, And the way they've been playing, if they're not able to build this chemistry, they're looking like an outside the top 3 finish team to me so far this season. When they can't get a positive result against West Brom, I guess you could say it draws a positive result because at least you get a point out of that. But you really got to look to win these games against teams like this. And it looks like Frank Lampard's still playing Timo Werner out of position. It's probably because of that Pulisic thing going on. But how do you think that's hurting him playing him out of position?
I feel like it's hurting him a lot because he's a natural-born striker. He can play the wing, but that's not his strong suit. And I feel like Lampard is doing this because he doesn't trust Callum Hudson-Odoi. the first couple games he was playing Havertz and Mount in the wings, and it wasn't working. So now he's moving Werner there. That's not what you should do. Play the guy in the position you brought him to play, striker. Trust Callum Hudson-Odoi, because when he came on for that West Brom game, he scored a late goal, and he brought the direct style. He brought the direct style like Pulisic. So you need to trust Callum Hudson-Odoi. He's a youngster. He's great. He's so talented, and he fits with Warner. Just play Warner in position, and it'll solve your problems.
Yeah, and speaking of Adoy, he came on in the second half and scored. In that first minute of the restart in that game there for him, and kind of sparked that comeback. So you might have to find some trust in him, Frank Lampard. You're gonna have to confide in him real quick. And so the next game, Burnley at home fall to Southampton. Alex McCarthy looked insane in this one as he was able to keep Southampton in this game. Also, Danny Ings bags in the game-winning goal. He's got 3 goals in 3 games. You know, he was bagging in the goals last season. It looks like he's going to continue to do that this season. Is he a dark horse for the Golden Boot this year?
I don't think so. I think last season people didn't take Southampton that seriously, which allowed him to score all these goals. But I still think he'll get about 15, 16 goals this season, but I don't think he'll hit the 20 mark, and I think for the Premier League, the Golden Boot's always going to be over 20 goals.
Yeah, same. I get that. Yeah, no, it was a great performance from Alex McCarthy in the back. Is he actually is going to win man of the match for them, according to FOTMob, of course. But, yeah, great game for them. That's a great result for Southampton. Move on to this next game. Sheffield at home fall to Leeds 1-0. Both the goalies are class in this one, 11 saves combined. Sheffield still has yet to score in this season, only allow 4 and have only allowed 4 goals in 3 games, though, but still cannot get the ball in the back of the net. What's going on there for Sheffield?
They just don't have any talented strikers. They have hard-working strikers, hard-working midfield, but they don't really have any natural-born goal scorers. They didn't have it last year either, but last year I feel like a lot of teams were not taking them seriously, but this year they will be taking them seriously, and they're going to need to keep clean sheets to get points or wins. And if they give up even 1 goal, they're going to be in a big hole, and they might not be able to dig themselves out of that hole.
Yeah, no, I've been liking what I've been seeing from this back line of Sheffield. You know, Aaron Ramsdale had a cracker of a game. You know, it's 7 saves in this one for his team. It still wasn't enough to get him a result in this one, but yeah, if I'm going up against a team like Sheffield and they got what, an Oliver Burke and a David McGoldrick up top. Are you really scared of this team? No, I'm not scared at all of this team up front, you know. I think, you know, and they're having a lot of struggles finding ways to get the ball in the net, and they're going to continue to struggle to find ways to get the ball in the net because when you got strikers like this playing up top, these names don't scare you. These skill sets don't scare you. The only player on this team probably going forward that scares me is probably John Lindstrom, and that's saying something, you know. He's probably the only player that scares me going forward. So, you know, this Sheffield has stuff to work on, and they just need to find ways to put the ball in the net. But on the other hand, Leeds finally able to get their first clean sheet of the season. They still got some struggles in the back. You know, they're able to keep a clean sheet here. They're able to attack. They're kind of like the opposite of Sheffield going in this season. How do you assess this Leeds United team so far?
I wouldn't take too much considering they got a clean sheet because if they play Sheffield, they really can't go forward, so they just rely on their defense. But like more importantly, I think Sheffield should be really worried that they couldn't score on Leeds because through the first 2 games, Leeds gave up 7 goals, I believe, and Sheffield couldn't crack 1 past them. That's a very frightening sight for a Sheffield fan.
Yeah, but Leeds having some woes in the back, but not able to keep a clean sheet unless it's against a side like Sheffield that has a McGoldrick up top. Anywho, next game we're on to the Spurs at home. Man, this one ends in a 1-1 draw. This one is kind of a crazy game. So, Mourinho leaves this one early, before the game even ends. Newcastle, extremely lucky to get a result out of this one. They were awarded a pen in the 97th minute. Kind of gave you some flashbacks to that Manchester United-Brighton game, you know. And really, the player of this game has got to be Carl Darlow. Played 11 saves for Newcastle. He kept Spurs out of the net when they really had to, and this is a huge result for Newcastle. What does this game tell you about Spurs and what to expect from them the rest of this season?
This game, as a Spurs fan, it wouldn't worry me too much because, like you did mention, the goalkeeper did have a world-class performance of 11 saves from Newcastle. And
Yeah.
also the penalty, the VAR handball rule, it's a very weak rule in my opinion. Some of these handballs, they should be called, but some of them, like this one, you can't call that. It's like so knick-knack. It's so like not noticeable. It's not going to affect the play at all. And they shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
call it. VAR is a joke. It's taking like the drama away from soccer and it's just adding like fabricated stuff that takes away from the emotion. You know, like you don't know when to celebrate. You don't know if to celebrate. You don't want to look stupid for celebrating if it's not a goal, or you don't know if you want to ask for the handball or not. It's just a mess.
Yeah, it's just taking a lot from the game, and like the what you saw with that Lindelof thing for Manchester and everything, it's just ruining it in the Premier League. I don't want to get too mad on it because we got some other games to go over, but I'm just getting really frustrated about the whole VR situation in England right now.
Yeah,
But this next game, we got Manchester City at home lose to Leicester, 2-5. Man City allow 5 goals for the first time since when, Nick?
2003,
2003. You know how many years ago that is, Nick?
17,
17 years ago, Nick. You know how old I am?
20.
I'm 20. Almost my whole life, I haven't seen Manchester City allow 5 goals. That's something to put into perspective, boys. So yeah, this is an insane game. Manchester City lose to Leicester. They dominate the ball, have over 70% possession in this one. 70% possession in this one. Leicester only able to get 200 passes in this game. So like on paper, you're all like, you're like, oh, this is an easy game for Manchester City. They won 2-1. They won 3-1, 3-0 or something like that. No, they end up losing by 3. It's a crazy game. I think this game. So with this result, is this Leicester able to send a message to the rest of the league and say that they're legit this season? Is that what this result means?
Do you mean legit as in winning the league?
I think legit in this sense, legit is a top 4, top 5 finish.
Oh, top 4, top 5 for sure. Yeah, Leicester, we all know that last year they should have been there, but they choked, and if anything, they just improved in the offseason. So for sure they're contenders. Brendan Rodgers is having them playing a beautiful style right now. They're really good on the counter. Jamie Vardy's bagging in the goals. And if they can keep this up and not choke, they'll for sure be a top 4, top 5 type team.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of drooling over how fucking Leicester's been playing this season, But Jamie Vardy, 5 goals in 3 games, But in this game, Manchester City does give up 3 penalties. 3 penalties, bro. There's been
They're
a
very
lot.
sloppy at the back.
Yeah, very sloppy. Very sloppy with Ake and everyone in the back, I thought that Ake signing was great. I like Ake. He scores in this game. He actually plays probably the best in this back 4. Probably best of this back 6, if we're being honest here. But yeah. So what do you take away from those 3 penalties that Manchester City gave up in this one?
I just feel like they just signed Ruben Diaz, for those of you who don't know, and I feel like this signing will be crucial, and they need Laporte to come back to full fitness as soon as possible. Because even though they spend so much money on their defense, they have a lot of depth in defense. Their depth players aren't playing good at all. They're struggling,
Yeah.
and giving up 3 penalties in one game is embarrassing, especially for a top-level team like Man City. Just embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think this is just an embarrassing game for Manchester City. It kind of exploits them. As you said, that their depth players aren't really showing up, aren't really playing what they need to be doing for a side this good. And, after seeing a performance like this and seeing how these depth players can play, Manchester City isn't winning the league this year. I'm going to come out and say it. They're not winning the league this year. There's no way you're going to win the league when you got your backups playing like this. It's just not happening. It's too competitive in England for you to let a game like this slip up. They're not winning the league. I'm saying that right now. I know it's only game week 3, but they're not winning the league.
If they want to win, they have to step it up and take this as a learning lesson and never let this happen again.
Yeah, no, but they're gonna have to find some results in games where they're not confident in getting any points out of. But they're gonna have to get points from these Liverpool games coming up.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to get points from these Manchester United games and these Everton games and these Spurs games. They're gonna have to get points from these games if they want a chance to win the league because of this slip up. This really exploits them. All right. Next, onto the West Ham game. West Ham at home against Wolves. They come out of this one 4-0 victors. Crazy. Wolves dominate possession, but they cannot create the same quality chances that West Ham is able to get. And talking about those quality chances, Wolves only has 3 goals in 3 games in this season. So what do you take away from this game?
Earlier when we were talking about Chelsea, we were talking about making too many signings and too many changes and how it might affect chemistry. And I think the same thing's happening to Wolves right now. They brought in a lot of players, especially in the defense and in the midfield area, and they're just not clicking at the moment. The manager keeps moving Adama Traore from right wing back to striker, and he's not letting him get any cohesion or any form in either position. And they just don't look like they're gonna score goals. Like you said, they do dominate possession, but they don't really look dangerous that much. And I just feel like this isn't the Wolves we watched over the last couple of seasons, because they always look dangerous, but this Wolves team doesn't.
Yeah, no, this is not the same Wolves team as we were watching last season at all. They've really taken a couple steps back, and they're really gonna have to find themselves. They're gonna have to go out and get some, but they're gonna have to go and get some good results in the cup games to when they play. And try to get some some confidence back in them. Their next game is against Fulham, but they're going to be at home against Fulham. They're really going to have to go in this game and look to work on stuff that they haven't been doing. Like in this last game, just not creating these quality chances. They're going to have to go into this Fulham game and do their best to create those quality chances, because that's what you need in the Premier League. You're not going to score off of these 30-yard, these 40-yard shots all the time. Those are like the one-in-a-lifetime shots. You're going to have to create these chances inside the box, these tidy passing, this great ball control, this tiki-taka sometimes is going to work for you, these through balls, to get these strikers moving forward towards the goal. You're going to have to create these chances, and that's what they're going to have to work for in this game against Fulham coming up.
I agree.
So, also on this game, does this game make West Ham look better or make Wolves look worse?
I think it for sure makes Wolves look worse. West Ham, they have the talent to beat Wolves, but it shouldn't have be 4-0 Wolves. Like, what are you doing? West Ham's in the relegation battle. A lot of people predict them to get relegated, and you let them score 4 and keep a clean sheet. Just embarrassing.
Yeah,
if I was the manager, I would be livid in the locker room after that game.
Yeah, this is a rough one for them. All right, on to this next game. We got Fulham at home taking on Aston Villa. You could say the same thing in this one about the West Ham game, Fulham dominate the possession just like Wolves in this one, but just can't create those quality chances. That Aston Villa was able to play. And Aston Villa's got 2 wins from 2 games so far in this season, but you gotta take that with a grain of salt, because they have played Fulham and Sheffield though, so
Yeah.
So you gotta take that with a grain of salt. But it's just Aston Villa's looking decent against teams that they should beat. Maybe at the beginning of this season I'm like, yeah, maybe they shouldn't be beating Sheffield and maybe they shouldn't be beating Fulham by this much. But they're showing us that they're beating these teams that they shouldn't necessarily be beating on paper at the beginning of the season. So what do you think about this Aston Villa team?
Well, first of all, I just have to say Fulham's horrible, bro.
Yeah.
Fulham sucks. All they have is Mitrovic, but they can't even get him the ball. But Villa, they're playing good, to be honest. John McGinn is leading the counters good. Jack Grealish is finishing. They're scoring off set pieces. They're playing good in the back. And you were saying that they beat Fulham and Sheffield. But we got to understand that Aston Villa, they're not going to be able to beat the more talented teams, and these are going to be the teams they need to beat to stay up in the Premier League.
Yeah,
so I feel
exactly. But these games are huge.
I feel like they're doing their job for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like as you were saying, but they just lack the quality to even get the ball up to Mitrovic, Their proven goal scorer who's been in England for so fucking long and bagged in so many goals. And they've allowed 10 goals in 3 games, but their defense also shaky. Fulham's looking like a team that's going down this season based on how they're playing, Nick.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, relegation. They might be one of the first teams relegated, to be honest.
Jeez. Yeah, no, they're looking really bad. Three goals for, and I think 3 against so far in this season for them, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Yeah, just The really pitiful start for them. The fans. I mean, as fans of Fulham, you don't really got to come into this season with that much confidence, but
Yeah.
you got to come in knowing that your team is gonna fight for relegation, and if you see your team go down, but lose their first 3 games of the season, you're not too mad. But you're like, oh, okay, well, Aston Villa, we can't even get anything out of that Aston Villa game. But they're looking like they're going down, so sorry to Fulham fans. You guys absolutely are trash. I am sorry. Now, last game of the weekend, Liverpool at home beat Arsenal 3-1. Liverpool, easily dominate this one. It's not even close. 66% possession, so many chances created, way more shots on goal, way more passing. They control the midfield. They control Arsenal's. But they control the area around Arsenal's goal. They control the area around their goal. They're just up and down this pitch all day today. It's not even a close one here in this one. But Liverpool show off the depth of this team with Jota coming off the bench and scoring. What does that tell you for Liverpool and how deep they are?
They're really deep. Like, in this game, they dominated the midfield without Henderson or Thiago. And then when they come back, they're going to be even stronger. Then Jota, like you said, he's a proven goal scorer for Wolves. And now he's sitting on Liverpool's bench, so he can always come in and score goals there. And they're deep everywhere. Like, maybe not as deep as they want to be in defense. But in midfield and forward, they're so deep. They're always going to have high press, good goal scoring opportunities. Mm-hmm. And Jurgen Klopp has built a dynasty.
Yeah, no, these next 5 years are going to be fun. I mean, for Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
Not really for us, but yeah. So speaking of Diego Jota, let's say you're in his shoes, right? You're 23 years old. I think he's 23, right?
Yeah, he's around there.
Yeah. So let's say you're around 23 years old, right? You're in England. You play for Wolves. You're bagging in the goals here and then. You're starting pretty much every important game. Not every cup game, but you're starting every important game for them. Do you take the move to Liverpool to be on that bench and be on their second team?
I do, because I'm assuming that Klopp told him he's going to be used off the bench a lot and even start some cup games. So I do trust Klopp and his word and take that move, because if we're being honest, like, no disrespect to Wolves, there's a big difference between Wolves and Liverpool, and it's such a huge step in his career. And let's say Mane or Salah, they might have like a African Cup of Nations in January, so Jota will start all of January, or if they get hurt, he'll start. So he's a good insurance policy, but it's also really beneficial towards his career as well.
Yeah, and the one thing that we've seen from Liverpool is this front three, or this front two in Salah and Mane, they really don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Like, they really don't get hurt. So, like, having a player like Jota, shit, like, I kind of feel bad for him, but also he's on a way better team. He's going to get way better, service up front with that midfield, that midfield's class. And, he's going to do bits there. Also, while we're still talking about Liverpool, Thiago Alcantara tests positive for coronavirus. You hate to see it. It was Pogba. It was Pogba in the past recently. Now it's him, It just really makes you think, how many more players is this going to affect? And if it affects enough players, will something have to be done about this?
I feel like at this point, as long as one player per team or one player here and there, they'll just self-quarantine, get away from the team, get their negative results and come back. But it might get a little shady if a full team gets it, or if 2 teams get it, then it'll become more like problematic.
Yeah, but that's really the one thing I'm looking at. I'm just really scared that, like, a side is gonna have half of their 11 out due to that, and then they're gonna have to take, but like the whole team's gonna have to take weeks off, because of course everyone's gonna be training around these blokes that have it before they know it. So that sucks. And more on the news today. I was gonna bring up some Sancho news, but people probably still know this. We're still going after him. We're giving him a 90 million offer. It's not gonna work. They want 120 mil, and that's what they want. So what do you think is gonna happen out of this Sancho deal? Is Man U gonna go to someone else? Are we gonna get in Sancho? Are we gonna get a replacement? Or what's gonna happen with that? You think?
Well, to be honest, I'm not too sure what's going to happen because our board's so incompetent, and we really never know what to expect with them. But all I'm saying is, if it's Sancho or Sarr or Dembele, we need to get him in ASAP. Solskjaer needs reinforcements. He needs a right winger, and we can't be fucking around till deadline day to get one of them. We need to get whoever now and move on from the other two and just play all our cards for the one player and just go in. We need to stop fucking around. It's not fair to the fans. It's not fair to the manager. And it's not fair to those players who need help too.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, and more transfer news. Leicester bring in Wesley Fofana, the defender from Saint Etienne in France. I said French. In France, for 35 million. That's a good signing in the back for Leicester as they get some more depth and they're able to shore up that defensive line in the back. What do you think about this transfer for them?
Yeah, it's a good transfer. I don't know too much about the player, so I'm kind of questioning the price, but hopefully he turns out good. And I'm really wondering to see who Leicester replaces him for, or if he's going to start on the bench, or to see what they're going to do with him. But no matter what, it's going to improve them in the back.
Yeah, he's also only 19 too, which a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But 19-year-old has a lot of upside. He's considered one of the greatest French talents of his generation, Etienne said.
Hopefully he sticks, or hopefully he lives up to it.
Yeah, I really hope he lives up to that. A statement has come out as Premier League referees are going to be more lenient on handballs after all this handling of balls stuff has been going around, causing all this VR stuff. And do you think they should be more lenient? Is it annoying you? Because it's annoying the fuck out of me.
Yeah, it is annoying. There's some handballs that should be called. The Brighton one, as much as it hurt, Mape did handle that ball, and he put his hand to make himself bigger. But then, the Spurs one is ridiculous. The Lindelof one is ridiculous. If their hands by their body and they're in a natural running position and it hits their hand from close proximity, there's nothing the player can do. We can't be forcing players to run with their hands behind their back. It's going to make them slower. So we just got to, use common sense, If the guy makes himself bigger or purposely does it, give a penalty. If it's an accident with close proximity, let it go.
Yeah, I just think the refs just need to be more common sense in this, and they got to take the flow of the game and how the game's playing and how everything is going on into a lot of context when you're refereeing these games, especially with these advantages, if the tempo's going, let that advantage go, but don't call it back for a free kick when it's a high tempo game. When the players are running, and everything is going fine, you don't got to call it back, just have common sense and don't just strictly stick to the rule book, sometimes you got to go with the flow of the game sometimes,
Yeah.
You got to go with the flow of the game. And we're starting a new segment today called Winners and Losers of the Week. Our first winner of the week is no one other but Jamie Vardy as he gets another hat trick. And Leicester beat City 5-2 this week. Jamie Vardy's still bagging in the goals. He's that proven English goal scorer. He's been doing it for years, and he's still gonna do it this season. I think he's gonna win the Golden Boot this year. He was my pick at the beginning of the year. He's still my pick. He's taking pens for Leicester. He's up front for Leicester. He's getting service for Leicester. He's doing everything for Leicester. He's really carrying this team offensively. What are you thinking about him? What do you think about Jamie Vardy this year?
He's playing great. The penalties, he's clinical. He's always going to finish them. The service, like you mentioned, Leicester does have a great midfield, great wingers to provide him. And he's a clinical guy. He's used to living off crumbs, but now he got service, so he's feasting. And he's just scoring goals left and right.
Yeah. Also, another goal scorer is one of our winners of the week. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, man. Dude just doesn't stop banging in the goals this year. He's got a hat trick.
Amazing.
He's got a hat trick too this season. What's he like, 22, 23-ish, somewhere around there. Might even be 21. But he's got 5 goals in 3 games so far in this Premier League season, He's looking really good for Everton. He's doing bits there, and this midfield of Everton's really just going to keep giving him that service he deserves. What do you think about him?
Yeah, he's a great talent. What I've noticed about him, he's always in the right place. He doesn't always run to the goal to try to get cut back. He always finds the space, the gaps, and then James Rodriguez and him and Richarlison and him, they got that connection, so they always know how to find him. He's really good in the air. He's physical. He's fast. He's direct. He can score. He just looks like a really promising English talent, and I hope he continues it because he's really fun to watch.
Yeah, I really hope he keeps it up. He gets even better. Aaron Ramsdale, another winner of the week. 7 saves in goal against Villa for Sheffield, but they're still able to lose in this one. Sheffield kind of leaned on Dean Henderson a lot last season in the league. He performed amazingly. Aaron Ramsdale comes out there and flashes the gloves and shows, maybe I am a capable backup or a capable replacement for Dean Henderson. Do you think he's a capable replacement on what he's shown so far?
Well, if he plays like this, he is. We got to see how his consistency is, but this was a world-class performance. There was a lot of world-class goalkeeping performances this weekend.
There was.
And Ramsdale was up there with one of the best. Those saves, they kept Sheffield in the game for sure. And if he keeps his consistency up, he'll be moving to a bigger team pretty soon.
Yeah, no. He looks great. They've only allowed 4 goals this season, but on the contrary, have only scored 0, which is not good.
That's the problem.
Another world-class goalkeeping performance from Carl Darlow of Newcastle. Made 11 saves against Tottenham to give them the draw. Huge performance. Played out of his absolute pants today. I mean, not today, but in this game. To really show he has those big balls against Spurs, huh?
Yeah. The goalkeepers, they get motivated for the bigger teams, and they always play out of their mind. We see that a lot when people play Man United, but the other day we saw this with Darlow against Spurs. 11 saves, it's crazy. Newcastle, their defense should be thanking him because they shouldn't be giving up 11 shots on target or 12 shots on target, but Darlow is out of his mind. It was one of the best goalkeeping performances I saw in recent history, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I love a good goalkeeping performance. It just makes the game so interesting, and just looks great. But looks great on paper. It makes the game so much funner to watch. More fun. Sorry, don't rail me for that. Losers of the week. Here we go. Losers of the week. Sheffield United. Absolute big fucking loser. Remain scoreless on the season. We've said a lot about them so far in today's episode, so we don't got to carry on too much with them, but they look absolutely dreadful up front. Only 4 goals allowed, so...
They need to score.
Yeah. But that's all I can say about that, right? They just need to score. They need to score, They're not allowing that many goals. They just need to fucking score. Put the ball in the fucking net. Put it on target at least.
Because if Ramsdale has 30 saves and they don't score, the most they'll get is a fucking draw.
That's crazy. Put it in the net. Anywho. Next loser of the week. Manchester City as they lose 5-2 to Leicester. Give a big standing ovation to Leicester on this one. Huge result for them. City, don't get the chances that they need in this one. Don't put the game away. Defense looks sloppy. 3 penalties. Already went over this. Fucking dreadful. And then our last loser of the week. John Egan. He's a defender of the Sheffield team who has only allowed 4 goals in 3 games. But he has a yellow and a red card in 102 minutes this season. You know what that means? This dude's getting carded every 51 minutes.
That's horrible.
John Egan. Hats off to you, bruv.
He's such a critical part of their team, too. They need him on the field.
Is.
He can't be affording to get these cards.
He really is. He needs to play like the veteran he is. He needs to play like the Premier League defender he's been for years, and he just needs to find his footing again.
Yeah.
So those are our winners and losers of the week. We're gonna do that every long podcast every week. Just go over who we thought was the best, who was the worst. Sometimes it'll be teams, as it was today. So now we're gonna look at the fantasy. Jamie Vardy goes off for 17. He's got 32 points in 3 games. That's pretty fucking good so far for Jamie Vardy. He's looking great on fantasy.
If you guys have Vardy, if you guys have him, I recommend making him captain. He gets the penalties. He gets all the service. Leicester rely on him getting the goals, and he usually delivers. Make him captain. He'll deliver.
I think I saw the team of the week this season, and they had him as I think it was as triple captain, if I'm not wrong. And he had 51 points for the team of the week that I saw, right? That's dude. If I get 51 points from a player, bro, I don't care. I want fantasy. Fuck off. Bruno Fernandes gets 12 points for a goal and assist this week as he looked good in that game against Brighton, as he gets the game-winning pen. It was pretty much a walk-off penalty.
Yeah, pretty much was.
Pretty much a walk-off penalty as the players were all walking off towards the fucking ref and totally surrounding him. But that's like the situations I feel bad for the refs in, man. When they get swarmed by these players, I mean, if I'm being swarmed by soccer players, it's probably the one sport that I'm going to be least afraid of the players. It's got to be soccer if I'm the ref, but, it's just kind of weird to see. Also, Callum Robinson puts in a 13-point performance, 2 goals in only 65 minutes against Chelsea. Callum Robinson looking good this season.
This was a crazy performance for him. He should have gave West Brom the win, to be honest, but then they choked it. They ruined his performance, to be honest. And Callum Robinson, he's probably a cheap alternative for any one of you who need a striker or a midfielder on fantasy. I'd recommend looking at someone like him.
Yeah, no, he's looking pretty solid. Also, if you're looking for any defender or keeper, for a clean sheet, just look at who Sheffield's playing. Really.
Yeah.
Just look at whoever Sheffield's going up against, as Meisler gets a clean sheet and 10 points against them. That's really all you need to do. You just have to go into the transfers. You got to find out who Sheffield is playing, and you just buy all the defenders and the goalkeeper of that team that's playing Sheffield, and you're going to get 30 points out of that back five.
That's so true.
Oh god, it kind of sucks how non-threatening they are going forward. It's insane.
Yeah, it's low-key embarrassing.
Yeah, it's just really bad. And so we got game week 4 coming up this weekend. Not a lot of big games going on. Not too much going on as cup ties are starting in the midweek too this week. Man U is taking on Spurs on the Sunday. This is a Jose Mourinho little bit of he's coming back to Old Trafford. Is he gonna have a little chip on his shoulder to get the dub out of this one?
He always has a chip on his shoulder. He's so full of himself. He's full of shit most of the time. Yeah. He's already talking shit to Ole. And I feel like the common sense prediction on this one would be a draw because he's going to park the bus, and we suck against parked buses. He's going to look for the counter.
Yeah.
But I feel like Ole is going to show the team how much shit Mourinho's talking, and they're going to play for Ole and get a victory in this game.
Yeah, and Manchester United haven't lost to Tottenham in the Premier League since August 27th of 2018. So, let's see if they can keep the streak going in this one. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
I think Man United 2, Spurs 1.
2-1 in this one. I think this game could be a little bit boring.
Yeah.
Spurs isn't the most fun team to watch, and United haven't started this season off as well as they should have. I could easily see this being a 1-0 or a 2-0 win for Man U. I'm gonna go 2-0 win for Manchester United. I think David De Gea. I'm gonna call it. I think David De Gea has a world-class performance and is able to keep the clean sheet for Manchester in this one, and really keeps them in the game too with his performance.
The clean sheet would be huge.
That's my prediction for this one. Arsenal's taking on Sheffield. We just talked a bunch of crap about this Sheffield attacking. This might be the week. You buy everyone that Arsenal's going to be starting in the back. I'm looking for Arsenal to explode in this one. I could see Arsenal scoring 4-3 in this one, hopefully allowing none to make me look better from what I just said about them. I got Arsenal winning this one 3-0.
I agree with the 3-0.
This is an easy game for Arsenal. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I can see a 3-0, 2-0, 4-0, somewhere there, depending on how good Sheffield's defense and Ramsdale perform. But if Sheffield don't score, I feel like Chris Wilder has to be on the hot seat. 4 games without a goal, it's dreadful, especially after the season Sheffield had. He really needs a draw here at least, and he needs to score a goal. It's ruining the players' confidence, and the longer they go goalless, the more it's going to get in their own head, and the worse they will play.
Oh, yeah, no, these fans got to be pissed based on how they performed last season, right?
Yeah, for sure.
How they were a solid team last year, now they can't put the ball in the net.
Yeah, this is what people expected Sheffield to be last year, but they surprised everyone, and now they're coming back to what everyone expected them to be.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's like Leeds is the Sheffield from last year, and now fucking Sheffield is just a relegation bound team at the moment.
Yeah.
That's what it's looking like. The one game I got my eyes kind of set on this week is Everton hosting Brighton. I think this is going to be a cracker of a game. I think this is going to be a great game. You know, Everton's been looking solid in that midfield. Brighton's been able to score goals. They've been able to get a win in their first 3 games. You know, they got 3 points in 3. Everton have 9 points in 3. I still think this is going to be a good game. I think Brighton could give them a decent run for their money as they did with Man U. I guess we'll also have to see how Brighton plays against Manchester tomorrow to see what kind of team they're going to put in for this Everton one or for that Manchester United game. But, you know, I think this game's going to be closer than a lot of people think. I got Everton barely winning this one 2-1. And I mean barely. I think this is going to be an extremely close game. What do you think, Nick?
For me, this game is screaming a draw. I feel like both teams will attack. Brighton plays a really attacking style for a lower table team.
Mm-hmm.
And Everton, we're just talking about how great their midfield and attack is. But I see Brighton coming out pissed because they were hard done by, to be honest, during the Man United game. And I can see them battling for a draw. I'll go 2-2.
Yeah, no, I could see a high-scoring draw on this one as well with that one. Another game that interests me is Leeds. Leeds is hosting Manchester City this week on the Saturday. You know, when you got a manager like Pep, you know, you really expect your team to bounce back good after a loss, and I think that's why this game intrigues me so well, because I want to see how well can Pep bounce back from such a terrible loss against Villa and such an embarrassing defeat to Villa. How do you think Manchester City is going to bounce back in this one?
I feel bad for Leeds, to be honest with you. Pep, there's speculation that he was pissed. He didn't let the players do interviews after the game. He just kept them in there and started yelling at them. And Leeds, to begin with, their defense isn't that good. I can see City exploding for 5 or 6 here, to be honest. I think City will win this game 6-2.
6-2. Wow. I don't even have a prediction for this one. I'm just really looking forward to watching this and seeing how Manchester City come out. I have Kevin De Bruyne. I was thinking about using my triple captain this week on him. Is that a good? Is that a good shout?
Yeah. I would recommend it because De Bruyne's involved in almost every Man City attack, and he's gonna be pissed too. He takes this team so seriously. He hates losing, and he's gonna be right there with Pep as the most pissed people in that dressing room. He's gonna come out and take all his anger out.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that one in the Everton game. There's going to be some nice games in this weekend. Well, that's all we got today, guys. Hope you like our new segments we brought in with the winners and losers and the fantasy roundup and everything. We'll continue to make content for you. We'll probably get another episode or 2 in the midweek coming out. We got a couple EFL Cups going on. A few interesting cup ties coming up, so we'll be sure to keep an eye on that and update you on those. I was actually watching the Chelsea-Tottenham game before I started recording this. You can actually check the score of that one right now. Chelsea's up 1-0 in the 60th minute. That's kind of expected through Timo Werner. It's a pretty nice goal from the edge of the box. But, yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and if you stayed for the whole thing, thanks. You're a real one.
Oh, God.
And from me, Ethan, be safe, have a good one, and we'll see you guys midweek.
Peace, guys.